Okay. This is Tory's new lawyer. Let's listen to what he got to say. If you don't know, Tory Lanez is locked up. He was found guilty on all three charges. The first charge is aggravated assault with a semi-automatic weapon. The second is negligently discharging a weapon, and then the third is possession of a weapon. Okay, he could be sentenced up to 22 years if everything is done consecutively. Which, unless he was just acting like a complete idiot, whether in court or probably leading up to court, or maybe just in the moment. It's rare that a judge would give consecutive sentence for those punishments. So it's probably going to be concurrent. The longest one is about 10 to 11 years, which means that he should serve below 10 to 11. From what I hear, his criminal record isn't like crazy, so he shouldn't, and he's not a felon, supposedly. He shouldn't be serving anything above around 50 to 60% of that time. So if you think about 11 years, around 5 to 6 is about average. They did go to trial, though. It might be 7, but I think everyone expects a 5-year sentence. What's going to happen is that he's going to get sentenced on the last day, I believe is the 28th of February, but really his attorneys are planning a appeal and hoping to get an appeal hearing to try to have a consideration of throwing out that verdict and granting him a new trial. Okay, so if he wins this appeal, it wouldn't be to release him. Well, he might get out of jail, but it wouldn't be to necessarily make him not guilty. He would just get a new trial. So this is what the appeal is for. This is one of his new lawyers, and I'll put him on.
So he's really, to his credit, he's listening to his lawyers. He's an incredibly articulate young man, and in all of that, he certainly, there are things that certainly in the trial he wished had gone the other way. So I guess to answer your question quickly and briefly, it would be yes. But he's trying his best to adjust to everything, and in light of the fact that he's never been in this situation before, it's really a tough process to go through.
Is there something that happened in this trial that you think would warrant an appellate court throwing out the conviction?
Well, I haven't even made an appearance yet, so I don't think it's proper for me to comment on the evidence, but I will say this much. There's mistakes in trials all of the time. It's a human system. It's going to produce errors regardless. Now, when you have a high profile, so he's really, to his credit, he's listening to his lawyers. He's an incredibly articulate young man. And in all of that, he certainly, there are things that certainly in the trial he wished had gone the other way. So I guess to answer your question quickly and briefly, it would be yes. But he's trying his best to adjust to everything. And in light of the fact that he's never been in this situation before, it's really a tough process to go through.
Is there something that happened in this trial that you
did I play it twice?
You think would
next slide.
Case. There's a lot more things to worry about. A lot more things for the judiciary to worry about, a lot more things for the defense lawyers to worry about, a lot more things for the prosecution to worry about. So all players are now playing with additional work and need to be protecting those safeguards to ensure that there's a fair trial to begin with. And I have to tell you, 9 out of 10 times we get it wrong. So I would say that there's probably a significant chance that there are numerous errors that are within the system and within this case that should be explored and see if perhaps the results would have been different should it gone the other way. There's a lot more things.
Okay, I'll give my opinion on what I think is gonna happen. I don't think unfortunately, I'm being very honest. I don't think Tory's gonna get the appeal here. I do think he might have grounds on a couple of things. I do believe that recording from Kelsey should have not been allowed to be played. I think that was done egregiously, and definitely that was probably the fucking nail in the coffin for Tory Lanez, which obviously hurt him a lot. You know, Kelsey's testimony helped him. It was on the record. It was in open court, and they played something that came from a meeting with the prosecutors that wasn't in open court. And I think they have a good argument to say that should have been suppressed. Also, you know, I don't know if they could do anything about contradicting like testimony though. Like, for example, their own witness that they brought up on the stand, their own witness basically, unless their own witness talked to them later and be like, yo, I was pressured to say that. I don't know if they have much grounds there. If someone is giving their testimony and their testimony just doesn't make sense, maybe the guy just wasn't a reliable witness. Maybe it was late. Maybe the guy was drunk. Maybe the guy didn't see nothing. Maybe his memory's bad. What he testifies is what he testifies. I don't think necessarily they could be like, no, well, you know, they don't have anything where he swore that that's what happened, like with Kelsey. So that kind of hurts him. Also, here's the reason why I don't think he's gonna get a retrial through appeal. I actually feel like the state of California does not want this saga continuing. I think the outcome that was given by the jury is something that's more with their values, and to follow through with an appeal only prolongs and complicates things. And in those last 2 years that case lasted, it was fucking hell for not only the DA, but of course state and court resources in dealing with such a high profile case like that. You get what I mean? So I think unless there's some significant fuck ups, I don't think they're going to be given an appeal, honestly. You know, I think obviously this is a very important step, because after this particular appeal, what's going to happen is that usually he'll get sentenced. They could appeal again to a higher court, but it's going to pretty much matter what type of grounds do they believe, what grounds was there, you know? Like, I can't, not that they should have argued it in court, but I can't think of anything beyond the Kelsey thing. Like, you know, to compare it to a case that I kind of like was very interested in, because he's like my favorite artist, Vybz Kartel. When he went to jail, like, to appeal his case, he's basically saying, well, the majority of the evidence came from my phone. My phone, according to when we got my phone through discovery, it was tampered with. Like, people went into it. Like, niggas was opening it, turning it on, doing all type of stuff with it. How do we know that the evidence extracted later on, after people was doing all type of stuff unauthorized, wasn't doctored and fabricated? That's a grounds, right? But with this Tory case, is like, other than trying to like strike certain type of audio that were played, what could they really say? And I don't know if this is, and I'm not an attorney, I don't know if they could just tell the judge, hey, listen, we had the driver and the driver was down to testify, and we want a retrial because the driver wants to testify, and the driver is an eyewitness, and the driver is going to say, I didn't do it. And matter of fact, we have gotten some type of sworn statement from him that he says this was not a delivery of justice and I saw something different. I don't know if that will count, right? Because I think the prosecutor is going to look at it and say, we gave you the chance to have the driver up there. Yeah, I brought him in the last minute. We never talked to him. We said we could bring the guy in for testimony, but he's going to be after the holidays, and we're going to have to talk to him first. And you said, all right, fuck it, we don't need him. So when you guys said, fuck it, you don't need him, like, now you're coming back after you lost the case and say you do? So I don't know. We're going to see, but he has a lot of high-powered attorneys on this. I'm not too sure if these guys specify in appellate, submissions, but we will see. From what I'm hearing, I don't know if this is the bias dude. It might be him. I don't think he's a licensed attorney in the state of California, but he could work with the team that is licensed to do what they need to do, right? We will see, man. We will fucking see.
Case. Okay. There's a lot more.
The whole Blueface saga is going on right now. I'll touch on it. I feel like every time I talk about it, because he's not rapping anymore, I feel like I'm promoting his show, but it is what it is. So I'll read some of the stuff that's been going on. Apparently, him and his girl been beefing. Actually, no. Let me play this Charleston White shit. Nah, this is hilarious.